super stoked about what arrived today. Adam Roa's book. Let's go talk to him. On today's episode, I interview Adam Roa. Adam's one of my best friends, mentors, teachers, and he's someone who I have an immense respect for. Adam's a former pro gamer who decided to quit to pursue other creative paths in his life. Now he's an artist, a coach, a spoken word, filmmaker. He does a bunch of different things, and he just wrote a book, Cosmic Philosophy, and we'll get into that. Today's episode, we're going to talk about how do you add a spiritual path to your personal development journey. How do we deal with words like consciousness, and how do we become more connected to everything around us? It's a really interesting interview. I'm really stoked for you to listen to it. So here we are with Adam Roa. So someone's looking at starting their personal development journey. How do you see like the spiritual component of that? Do you see that as a spiritual experience overall, or is that like a component?
I mean, it kind of depends on what someone means when they say like a spiritual journey, right? Like, what is a spiritual journey even? And I think for me, the idea of a spiritual journey is a journey to reconnecting with everything, because spirituality for me is about that feeling of being connected to everyone and everything, and that's being more and more scientifically proven. But just when I say, oh yeah, I'm like one with, like, we're connected, or I'm connected to the tree, like I feel like a part of the world, I'm connected to someone halfway around the world, that connection and that reconnection that so many people feel disconnected from, to me, that's what spirituality is. That's what a spiritual journey is. And so when I was gaming, there was a lot of, I felt connected to like my clan, like that's who I felt connected to, but and there was like this camaraderie among gamers, but that was like reserved for the online, sit in front of my computer and never actually have much face-to-face with any of those people. And that had me feeling very disconnected from everything that I just spoke about. Trees and nature and the ocean and just people that I could actually sit across from. I didn't connect at the level that I...
Go to quit gaming, one of the most important things to remember is that you're going from the virtual world back into the real world. So one of the most interesting things that Adam shared was about how you can get reconnected to the environment around you, not just the actual physical environment, but also how you can get reconnected to yourself and your own physical, emotional, and mental environments. And so I found that really interesting, and I think that for you as a gamer, that's going to be very helpful for you as well.
I think that there's a couple aspects to this, and it's like not going too far into like the woo-woo spiritual, but you have a bunch of different bodies, right? Like you have your physical body, you have your mental and emotional bodies, you have your auric field, like that's the auras that people say when I can see an aura. And so I like to think of it as actually getting connected to each of those. And as you connect deeper to each of those bodies, you're going to feel more connected to the world around you. So starting as simply as the physical body, right? And getting out and getting away from just sitting in front of a screen and actually starting to just stretch, or starting to go to the gym or do some push-ups, or get one of those pull-up things that you can put up above the door and doing pull-ups, or just going for walks outside. But like being very conscious of the body as the vessel, as the, like, how do I say it? Where's the train? Yeah. Let's use the train, right? That just came through for a reason. So if the train is the vehicle through which you get from point A to point B, our bodies are the vehicles through which we get from point A to point B. How you're going to get from where you were born to where you die is through this body. And just like the train, if you are disconnected from the fact, oh, the brakes aren't working, because you never pay any attention to them, that could be a huge problem. Mm-hmm. And all the seats on the train are all torn up and destroyed. Like, no one's going to want to ride that train. And so just starting to reconnect to the body is a really simple and baseline foundational thing. And then from there, starting to say, okay, well, let me think about like my mental body, right? Well, my mental body, how can I stimulate that and get myself more connected to that? Well, what are you doing outside of gaming to challenge your mind and your logic and your problem solving? Like, just start doing some Sudokus, or start doing some riddles, or just start reading about subjects that actually get you thinking. And then you go into like the emotional body and say, okay, what am I doing to actually connect to my emotions? How am I choosing to spend some time focused on what it means to feel? And maybe that's like listening to music that makes you feel something, and actually saying, okay, I'm going to take 10 minutes and I'm going to listen to these 3 songs that make me feel something. Or I'm going to take an hour and a half away from gaming and I'm going to watch this movie that always makes me cry. And I'm going to be okay with that. And I'm not going to say that there's something wrong with that. And slowly but surely, you just start to reconnect to these different bodies and these different parts of yourself, and that'll bring you into a state of wholeness, so that as you go through the world, your connection to yourself gets reflected in your connection to everything else.
When you hear words like consciousness or meditation, it's easy to feel like that's some woo-woo hippie shit. And I get that, because I felt that way too. And now I'm that woo-woo hippie. So I asked Adam, what are the top 3 ways that he believes you can actually take these ideas and implement them into your life to actually see results? So check this out.
Like, the first thing is giving yourself more knowledge. And that can be in any area that you want. I suggest that it be in your physical, your mental, or your emotional, in an expansion in that area. Another tool that I would say is going back to connecting to the body, which is, honestly, if people who are listening to this who are addicted to video games started stretching, like literally, you die and you're waiting to respawn, like stretch. How tight your hamstrings are, or how tight your triceps are, or oh, my neck, and just actually starting to stretch in the times that you have will just start to connect you to your body. That's the second thing. And the third thing is stop eating so much shit. You know what I mean? Like, my days of gaming were sitting down with a bag of beef jerky and a bag of gummy bears. Like, that was like my thing, and maybe like a Yoo-hoo. And like, that was my thing, just playing, and then I would die and I would just grab a handful of gummy bears and put them in my mouth and just be playing some more. And honestly, it's very difficult to have the energy, the motivation, and the clarity to expand yourself and have and be inspired to do so when you feel physically like shit. And so many people are like, oh no, I feel fine, like I feel totally good. But the thing is, they have no reference point. You actually don't know how good feels when you're eating healthy food until you get the shit out of your system. Eat healthy food for 2 months, 3 months, and then you're like, whoa, now let me go ahead and have those gummy bears and that ice cream that you used to binge on. Yeah. And then all of a sudden see how you feel, and then you have the comparison. But until then, don't assume that you actually are operating and feeling physically great.
So there you have it, Adam Roa. I hope you got value out of this. If you did, make sure you go check out his book, Cosmic Philosophy, A Month in the Light. Be open to receiving the lessons that it has for you. I know it'll have an impact in your life. You can also check out Adam on the Deep Dive podcast. I have a bunch of episodes that I've recorded with him as well. And check him out on adamroa.com. If you're new here, make sure you hit the subscribe button and leave a comment. What was your top takeaway from this video? I hope you guys have a great day, and Godspeed.